The A stands for appreciation, as last night I ran my 500th paid session on Start Playing Games. And I have thoughts today on Dungeons and Chances. So yes, I have ran 500 paid sessions on Start Playing Games. That is amazing. I don't exactly remember where I started. I believe it was 3.5 years ago on Start Playing Games. 3 years and change. Not quite sure. But I have learned a lot, and probably the biggest thing that I have learned is I've got a lot more to learn. But let's start with a few things I've learned about the players in the game. I have now finished, I believe, 16 campaigns on Start Playing Games in those 3 years. I have 6 ongoing right now that will come to completion as well. So that will be somewhere around 22 sessions, 22 campaigns eventually. And we continue to run more. What I found is that a lot of players, what they're looking for is, one, a group that sticks together and plays as a group. 2, that campaigns will finish. So we begin and we actually will finish the adventure. Players kind of like finishing adventures. Number 3 is that having their characters actually matter. Let them have a backstory and let them somehow have their own little character arc inside of the story. Players kind of like that. I probably didn't need to learn that, but I have kind of learned that. And I keep trying to find more ways to involve the character in the story. And it leads to probably finishing more stories. Lastly, and this is an interesting thing, is that while one would think that players want to do cool shit, so they want the rule of cool, right? And a lot of dungeon masters will say, oh, I'm 100% rule of cool over rules as written. Well, I don't know if it's my day job kind of technical nerd in me that makes me want to do rules as written, but I'm rules as written. I didn't realize this until maybe when I noticed what players were reviewing me and giving me accolades on, or explaining how they saw me. And one of my top things, as a matter of fact, I will go pull that up right now because that is actually rather interesting. One thing is who you see yourself as being, and it's a total other thing completely on how the players see you. And according to my players, they said, I am more rules as written over rule of cool. They also gave me 3 of my top proficiencies, what I am supposedly, according to my players, what they have found about me is 1, creativity, That did not surprise me. I try to be creative always. I love creativity, always have. So it doesn't surprise me that that's number one. Number two was voices. That's nice. That's nice to know that people notice that I'm doing voices and I'm doing as good as I can do with the voices. Uh, Apparently, it's number two on the list of what they say about me as being best at. And number three was absolutely a surprise. I feel like this trait, we'll say, I don't know if it's a trait, but this um, topic, I don't really know what word to use for this, but inclusive. Inclusive is number three on the list. And that makes me very happy because I do not go out of my way to be inclusive. I don't think. I try not to even think about it. What I try to do is just make sure that everybody at the table is happy, that everybody at the table has an equal opportunity to be spotlighted, and that their character is heard, and that character is important, as well as the players' wants and needs being heard and being important. But I would think that would be kind of an automatic, like it should be. But having it be in my top three recognized for that just makes me very happy. So I believe that that is probably the key, not the voices. No one comes to my table for the voices. I mean, they're not bad, but that's not why they come to my table. And I doubt that they come to my table for the creativity. Even though I'd like to think I'm very creative, but let's be honest, I've seen there's people that are way more talented than I am. So having something that actually matters in my top three, being inclusive, wow, that is what makes me happiest after 500 games. And if I can, when we reach 1,000 games, that become my number one rated proficiency, as it says on the site, your proficiencies. If that becomes my number one, then I'll know that I have done my job right. Because inclusivity means everyone matters at the table. Everyone has an equal share, and that is what we strive for. And that is how we keep adventures going. That is how we probably make it to 500 games hosted that are paid games on Start Playing Games in 3 years, which is amazing. And keeping groups together, which is the key. I have interviewed so many players, and players come and players go. And not everyone is completely happy with the results that they've had at my table for one reason or another. But I do have an ever-growing community of players who stick around and have played in multiple campaigns of mine. And I'd like to think that that is always my number one goal, is making sure that the players are happy, like as if I'm giving a product of customer service to my clients. And I think that's kind of what this is. And I always want to give the best service possible. So having said that, that is really humbling to see that inclusive is now ranked as number 3 as my top proficiencies as a game master. So I want to thank all the players who participated in that, all the players who have given me reviews, all the players who keep coming back to the table and sharing with me a little bit of themselves, as there are many players that I feel like I kind of know them, and I'd like to think that we're friends. And that's important to me, to continue to know who these people are and to continue to give them a good time and something that you'll remember, because a little bit different than getting together and taking people on some, I don't know, trip or something that just having a good time for a few hours, like playing in an arcade or playing a video game. This is a little bit different. I guess playing a video game is really what I'm looking for here. Having the players play 3 hours with me every week, and some even more, and developing stories that you can't do when you're playing a video game. You can have memories of great moments that you spent, especially when you play collaboratively with friends, or like I played with my son, Dark Souls 3 and other games, Overwatch, and many things over time. And I cherish those moments. I remember those moments, and they were great. But when you're playing this game where we get into character, and for a little bit of time, we become a little bit that person that we're portraying, I think that memory lasts longer. I have memories. I don't know what my players think or say about this. I'd love to ask and have them tell me. But I can say that as the game master, I really have memories of our games. I have memories of many moments that happened that were so cool, and stories that were told, and characters that evolved over an adventure, and ways that players have gotten together and strategized and came up with solutions when I thought it was all lost. As I'm running the game, those are things that stick with me and I never forget over the years. So I just really wanted to say that I am thankful, and I hope that all of my players and future players will continue to have a good time at my table, feel included, and feel like they have a place in the server, they have a place at the table, they have a place in my life. Because, hey, for at least 3 hours a week, you're in my life if you're playing at my table. And that's very special. And so once again, today the A, sorry, I hit my microphone, is for appreciation. And I have nothing but appreciation for you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And here's to another 500 games as we go forward, on and upward. Ciao, everybody.